Anyway, so it's honestly pretty. So we're here with Brian Kuhanek. Brian is a veteran. We're doing a special Veterans Day episode here. Happy Veterans Day.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you for your service. I am a huge supporter of the troops because if the troops weren't the troops, I would be the troops, whether I liked it or not. So I'm a huge supporter of the troops. But so give us kind of a little bit of background just on you, where you're from. Obviously, you come from a military family too, so I don't know if that looks like you moved around specifically from someplace. Why don't you talk us through that first?
So my dad was Air Force. So
Okay.
growing up, his brothers were Air Force. It was just something they wanted to do. From the time I could remember, I think our first base was Louisiana, and then Fort Walton Beach.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right. We talked about that.
Got to go to Italy for 3 years with him, and then back to Panama City. So,
Okay.
Over those 9 years, 10 years, definitely got all of that military stuff in.
Covered a lot of ground. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I did a year of college.
Okay.
And I was
Where
at Gulf Coast Community College,
Okay,
right in
sweet.
Panama City.
Love that.
And I always thought as a type growing up that I felt that I didn't want to join the military, that it was like a last option scenario for me, So
Yeah.
I felt I was maybe too smart. No, I'm not going to join. But after looking into it and being 19, I signed up. Me and a buddy of mine did the buddy program, both signed up for the Navy, but got stationed in Virginia Beach. But got stationed on the USS Enterprise. So that was huge.
You're on the Enterprise.
So yeah, that was huge for me growing up as a kid watching Top Gun.
Right. Yeah,
so getting to serve on the same ship as the movie.
Right.
So the way they have it there is you do so many, as your rank goes up, you do so much, sea time compared to shore duty. So I had to do 5 years on the Enterprise and then 3 years of shore duty. So after that, I went back home to Panama City, went to the shipyards. Mm-hmm. It was an easy transition. And then Jacksonville, just such a big city with big opportunity with 2 Navy bases.
So now you came here unannounced, or you came here stationed and then never left?
I came here unannounced.
Okay,
unannounced. Cool. So I got out of the Navy, went back home, just to go back home, see friends, things like that, and realize city's too small.
Not happening.
I need bigger things. Yep.
Right. Not happening. Well, so it's funny. So you come in, you got the flight jacket on. I absolutely love it. Big bomber jacket guy myself. This happens to be authentic, which is great. See if you could turn around and flash. Let's see if you can just. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Love it. That's excellent. That is excellent. So we were talking about, so my really good friend of mine, one of my 6 friends from that I literally grew up with, like we lived from a 2 mile town, 2 miles by 2 mile town. I still talk to the same 6 guys. One of them is a pilot in the Navy. He flies F-18 Growlers. He was stationed out at Whidbey Island. Now he's elsewhere. It's elsewhere. But he's telling us all about this stuff too. So I've learned the term and now understand is you are a shellback.
Oh, okay.
You are a shellback, and a shellback is somebody that crosses the equator.
Yes. So you have 2 areas of where most of the aircraft carriers are stationed. You have the East Coast and the West Coast. So anytime either these 2 carriers cross the equator, that is considered being a shellback. Not all ships do it. You have to have time in your schedule, while you're out there. So, and then.
But that's not just like like when you're driving in the car, you're like, oh, I didn't even realize we're in Georgia. It's like a ceremonial thing that happens.
It is a ceremonial thing. So all day, starting from the earliest parts of the day, they get the whole crew set up. If you are previously a shellback, you get to be part of the crew that sets everything up. In the 70s, it was definitely way different than it is today.
I'm sure.
Just for
like most
hazing,
things.
Just because
like
of the hazing
things.
aspect.
Right.
But they still try to keep the tradition alive. You got to call through mustard and ketchup. You get sprayed with hoses.
Right.
You got to try to move a forklift with just manpower.
Okay.
At the end, you stand in front of King Midas. You do a backwards fall into some water, and you are now a shellback.
I wonder how that differs from just being a regular Amazon employee. I think now what you just said sounds like a lot what they might go through in a warehouse.
Oh my goodness. And if you ever get the chance, which is the West Coast ships do, if you get to cross if the Prime Meridian, which is the day change.
Okay, the international date line. Okay.
Yep. That is what they call a golden shellback.
Okay.
So you get the different ceremony, different plaques, certificates. It's very cool. It's very cool to be a part of something like that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like it's a brotherhood inside of a brotherhood, essentially. You know, it's just like being in part of this fraternity, sorority, whatever you want to call it, of people that get to do that, and it's just cool that you kind of have the ceremony. So now, do you? I mean, do you get like a plaque? Is it something that gets added to the jacket? How do they kind of honor that at all?
So
Or-
they give you all the information, and nowadays, what you can do is you can actually go online, and they will do the research for you to verify that your ship did cross during these times, and you can actually order a certificate, or and they're pretty cool. Like I said, they've got
Right.
sea turtles and mermaids and Poseidon. They tell you where you were, what time and date, and
Oh wow,
it's pretty cool.
sweet. So now you come over, you serve your time. What did you? Let's even take care of that. What did you do in the Navy? What was your?
I was
What'd
an
you call it?
aircraft director, so anytime you see
Love
any
that.
shows of people on the flight deck, I was the
Right.
guy wearing the yellow shirt. So I'm directing the aircraft. The officers are the ones that actually get to do the touch and go.
Oh,
So
okay.
they get to do the thing,
Right,
and then
right.
they touch the deck, and then they go. So those are officers. Actually nowadays, the with the new ships, if you see them, they actually have, it looks like a little hump in the flight deck. They
Mhm.
actually get to sit inside now for the weather. So now they get to sit inside, which means
They're getting soft.
I feel you don't get all the old school stuff,
Right.
the things that you grew up with or you get to see.
Right.
So
I wonder if it's more of a safety issue than it is the weather permitting.
it's more of a weather permitting.
Really?
Because as officers, those guys, they're held to a little bit of a higher standard than a little bit of the enlisted, right? That's not
Okay.
why everybody's an officer.
Right.
So,
Fair.
but they're cool too on the on one of the last things they do. So whenever we're coming back, and all the aircraft are flying off, going to their respective bases, all the officers will get up on the flight deck and wear togas. They do toga launches. So all they're doing is wearing a sheet like a toga on the flight deck,
That's too great.
setting off the aircraft. So
That's too great.
even though it's work, what is 800, 179 days out of the 180, there are spots where you enjoy. The
Right, you
time
get to
here
have
and there.
fun.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, nothing is more confident than ripping off in a 35 or something $1 million jet, if not more, with somebody sending you off in a toga and a bed sheet.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Do you ever get to fly in a jet at all? Any experience there?
So, what is cool is they do have certain things like if you become Sailor of the Year,
Okay.
Sailor of the Quarter. Before we go out, they will bring on these smaller white planes, 2-seaters, and this is for any pilot who's never landed on an aircraft carrier before.
Okay.
So you'll have an experienced pilot in the back, and then the rookie up front, and all they're doing is touch and goes, just trying to get used to flying.
Right.
While I was there, they did give away 2 seats
Yeah.
to that because it wasn't in the F-18, but it was something cool.
Right.
So
That's still awesome.
you get cool experiences for doing a good job.
Right,
Flying
right.
helicopters, getting to fly Blue Angels.
Yeah,
things
right.
like that.
Well, I remember even when my buddy went out and did that, they kind of like, I don't know what the word for it is, but they kind of like brand everything. First of all, they have like an acronym or something for the military. It has an acronym for basically everything, an abbreviation
Everything.
for literally everything. But they also everything's kind of a big ceremony. Like when you're touching down, your first time taking off, I remember he was like, send in the hookers, and it was like that's what you get called because when you fly in, you get caught on the hook because it means if you caught the cord, you landed on the aircraft carrier properly, right? If not, you just touched down, you took back off again because you're not a hooker, right? So, it sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like an immense amount of work, but it's funny because I'm talking to him like it's literally the coolest thing ever. Like you fly a jet, right? He's like, well, yeah, it's work like anything else. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, most people go into an office. So, I mean, what's the juxtaposition like versus being on the deck of an aircraft carrier dealing jets, now being able to come into this office, sell homes? Like, do you find like you have to kind of make the excitement, or you think there's excitement enough here?
There's definitely in real estate. There's definitely enough excitement.
Right.
Every day you work with different people, different wants and needs.
Right. Okay.
The cool thing about, like you said, about being in the military is that it is a brotherhood. I've been out since 2008, and I could probably go to any state in the United States if I needed a place to stay. There's probably somebody I could
else
call.
to stay there.
with the brotherhood that we have, and I feel that really translate into, you know, when I meet these clients and their families, you
Right.
know, after the first 5 or 10 minutes, you know, we're already in the military family now. We're
Right.
even better friends.
Right.
Makes it very easy.
And they feel probably very taken care of, very supported. Right. Exactly. So now let's kind of get into your real estate career. You were a part of a program we don't have anymore, which was a scholarship and an ISA program, which you'd receive on-site training, get kind of into the phones, how to prospect, how to really form relationship with clients. So when you become an agent and you start going out showing property, you know how to kind of build rapport, understand our systems, our processes, everything like that. We just celebrated your 1 year anniversary, which was October, but really you don't see it as October. You see it as from where your first deal was, your very first deal, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I started with the ISA program, they had it set up right after COVID, which was great. You know, while
Right.
you were learning, get paid, you learn the business. And then once you kind of got your classes done, you went ahead and, you know, took your test to become an agent.
Right.
So that was towards the end of October, and then we had some stuff with the DPBR. So it wasn't until almost really November until I could really get everything going.
Right. Okay.
And you know, towards at the end of the year, you know, we were also a smaller company.
That's very true.
Back then, you
Yeah.
know. So, and some things did change from the way we did things from November to January.
Right.
You know, like DJ says, you know, every day we try to get 1% better.
Sure.
And, you know, at that time we made a change and we got better for it.
Right.
So once January hit, you know, I did, you know, 4 deals in the first 11 days. I think it was something like $1.1 million, you know, when we made this
Okay.
switch.
So your first stretch of the new switch, which is where you mark your calendar year of my first year in real estate, is what would January?
January, yep.
January. Okay. Wow.
Because that's what we do. We have from that point on, we
Right.
have done it that way.
Correct. Okay.
So,
right.
right.
So that's where your change was. I mean, yeah, you're right. You came in this, it was a strange gray area. You know, we obviously were eliminating that program anyway, just because we didn't feel like it was best use of your time. Even though you guys did a great job, you know, you're helping our agents tremendously. It just didn't fully translate out to you guys. I think, I mean, I can't really say that because you became a great agent. So I don't really know, you know, where that kind of lies, but we got away with that. But now, I mean, dude, we're thankful to have you. You're absolutely slaying it. So what do you have going on right now? What's kind of like your pending situation, closed pending inside that first year? We're coming up on January. It's going to be here tomorrow, by the way.
So yeah, I mean, it's coming fast, and you're always looking forward. So I mean, with it already being at the end of November, I should finish this year with 25 closed deals.
Buddy.
You know, pending. You know,
Right.
depends what happens at the end of the year, but
Right.
you know, from what I see, other people in their second year, 25, 30, 35. You know,
Right.
that's a lot of sales. You know,
Yeah.
especially for anybody in their first year of real estate.
Yeah.
And if you go out to you know, I talk to a lot of agents when I'm on the phone, especially when I was first on the team, letting them know I was on DJ&Lindsey.
Sure.
And you know, they're you know, giving them the difference,
Right.
you know, because you know they had heard some things.
Right.
In the end, I mean, you're gonna outperform any other agent, any other
Absolutely.
company, you know, in the
Absolutely.
Northeast Florida area.
Absolutely. So we spoke to Theo a few weeks back, and he was just saying how 12 homes for an agent somewhere else would be a very good year. And here you are in your first year, you're going to sell 25 homes. And I just think of the experience you get, right? If somebody's going to sell 12 homes, you just got 2 years experience inside your first year. And if you had 2 really great years back to back in your first year, I mean, 25 homes is pretty
It's
remarkable.
good. It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy.
Right. We're happy for you. We absolutely love you here. I mean, you always bring energy into the office. There's not a single day where you're walking around and just head hung low. It's like you're constantly walking around, you're beat bopping this, that, the other. You're jumping into conversations. You're always over hanging out with us, talking to marketing. You're always on the phone. I see you always over there in the far hallway over there, you know, printing stuff because you're always going out on showings too. I mean, you're an absolute workhorse, and I guess we're kind of traipsing it back all the way to that you're a military family. So we appreciate your service. We appreciate you here, man. We're happy to have you.
All right. Perfect, Ghost Rider.
Yeah, later.